Hey guys, and welcome back to my logo process series. In this video, we are going to be looking at one of the last steps on my design process, which is to present to the client. If you've been following along on this logo design process, you will have seen how I started from nothing and built it all the way up to a logo proposal document, which I'm going to present to the client in this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how I took the client through the presentation, how I spoke to the client, how I presented to the client, and the reaction of the client and what they thought of it. So let's see what the client thought of the design. Well, I've been working a lot on the project and I'm really excited to share with you what I have. I've got a creative solution which I think would work really well for your company. So hopefully you agree with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a presentation. It should only take me about 10-15 minutes. You might have some questions along the way. Maybe just like make a note of those, because maybe I might answer them as we go along. And then once we're done, I'll take a pause and then we can have a chat and you can ask all the questions and things like that. How does that sound?
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's fine with me.
Okay, cool. Right. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll jump into this. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it now.
All right, let's jump into presentation mode. Okay, Riverside Training, Spalding, logo identity proposal. Let's do this. Okay, so what's in store? Well, what I'm about to take you through four parts. There's going to be a quick project recap. We're going to talk about a strategy. Then I'm going to show you some concept territories. And then I'm going to show you the creative solution. So, so let's start with a quick project recap, understanding the task at hand. So RTS, private training provider based in Spalding, offers apprenticeships, trainerships, and full-time courses in various fields of work, including childcare, business administration, accounting, bookkeeping, teaching, healthcare, and customer service. The future goals of the company are expansion, providing more opportunities and support to the local area. So we want to create a new logo identity to enhance the perception and build on the aspirations of the business to apply across a wide range of collateral from print to digital. The goal is a logo identity to feel fresh, exciting, contemporary, to inspire a new generation in their career endeavors. So the key considerations here, we want it to feel fresh and contemporary. We want it to stand out from the competition. We want to attract and inspire and work well in print and digital. So what I normally do is before I kick off a project, I like to just have a little look at the competitors and have a look at the horizon to see what your competitors are doing and just see what's out there. You know, what do we need to compete against? What do we need to stand out against? And what do we need to avoid? So here are some private training company logos in Britain, and you might recognize some of these. You included them in your brief, but I found a couple more and just popped them up here. And we can see what's going on here. And I also went out and just looked at some other private training companies, some school and university logos, as they're all in the same sort of sector, and just wanted to have a little look to see what the feel was there. Okay, so now I start to think about some creative strategy. So shape our thinking to generate potential ideas. So defining Riverside Training Spalding. So these are just some of the qualities that I pulled out. So we have things like passionate, they're personal, it's a family business. It's all about development, improvement, it's inspirational, it's motivating, there's guidance and trust, learning and skills, self-improvement, ambition, goals, potential, achievements, nurturing and encouraging. See, these are all like the key qualities of RTS. So what makes RTS unique? Personal take on providing training. You care about developing students' futures and you strive for exceptional training programs. So creative interpretation. So now I'm starting to think about these qualities and think of the sparks that could trigger some ideas for potential design. So I'm thinking direction, bridge, building, stability, unlocking potential, reaching, climbing, hopes, foundation, stability, cycles, personal growth, projection, elevation, journey, alignment, formation, and target and focus. So these are just some of the words that came out to me when I was thinking, right, okay, what could we do with these? So then some initial themes that come out with things like building blocks, building your future pathway, shooting star, personal growth, light, sort of concentric rings, moving out, expansion, forward motion, infinite, construction, building, orbit, personal momentum, stepping stones, foundation, solid ground, key parts, skills, lift, and elevation. So just thinking about outside the box of those qualities there. And then design traits. So what could it look like if it was a design? So I've got things like exciting, maybe gradients for like transitions, movements in 2D images, just to suggest movements. It could be minimal and clear, comprehensive, could be based on grids. It could be impactful, structure, formation, inspiring colors, appealing to youngsters, dynamic, contrast, contemporary, and it needs to feel bold and it needs to feel like it has gravitas. So definitely. Creative territories. So with all that in mind, that was my strategy, understanding what it is I'm going to be designing for. So now, out of all that, what idea could we come up with to base a logo design on? So here I'm going to identify ideas to design. So what are we going to do here? So we're going to create a standout logo identity to attract a young audience, reflect on the core values of RTS, and inspire a new generation to pursue their goals of starting a new career. So these are three key territories that I identified, and one I called building space. Those who seek to further their education come to RTS to build and develop their skills and knowledge, to gain qualifications, to build a better life. RTS offers a space to learn, grow, and build. RTS helps build careers, futures, potentials of their students. So there's this idea of building. And then the next one is path to success. Learning is a never-ending journey. We never stop. RTS helps people at the start of their careers realize their passions and potential, and helps put young people on a path to lead them into a successful career. And then there's another one, which is a new direction. So RTS can be a place where it all begins. When people study with RTS, they are embarking on a new career direction. RTS can help give young professionals a sense of direction with their studies. So 3 key ideas there. But what we're going to do at this stage is I'm going to take the one which I think is the most interesting to me, and the one I think has the most legs, and I'm going to build a creative solution. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the creative solution. So now we're going to see a result in regards to your creative solution. So the creative solution here is the building space. So those who seek to further their education. So it's all about building. I really like this idea. I think it's really strong, and it's something that you could get behind.
Definitely, yeah.
So let's look at some development. Bring in ideas to life to visualize possible solutions. So this territory needs to focus on construction, development, growth, and a sense of direction as well. So here's a little bit of sketching, just some really initial sketching that I did right in the early stages. And we spoke earlier about the idea that Riverside Training Spalding is quite a big word. So we could make a letter mark, or we could abbreviate that. And we could do something with the letters, the RTS, and we could do something really cool with that. So I was thinking about development and shapes and blocks and how that could come together to create a very distinct logo. So here's the next page. Here's some initial sketches. Just looking at how the R and the T and the S could work to, and build together in a number of ways. So here's just some really rough sketches here. Right. And then I came to a conclusion of this logo here, which the design combines. Here's a logo formula. Okay, so this design combines 3 distinct qualities of RTS: blocks and shapes, build, formation, structure, and the letters. So this makes a really bold, distinct letter mark. So we've got blocks plus formation and shapes plus the letters equals RTS. So here's a rough drawing, or a polished drawing of a logo of some letter forms, RTS. And here you get a sense of building blocks and construction. The logo represents new spaces. So it's about those spaces for RTS. And here we can see how the logo could lend itself. And by the way, I call this new space. So this logo is new space.
Interesting.
So it's the new spaces that you're going to create for young people to come and learn, and the spaces that they create for themselves to grow and nurture themselves. So the visual language is, this logo can be deconstructed. So it builds and it can deconstruct, move around. So here you can see some visual language, how the shapes could be broken down into, various shapes, which could be used as grids or like patterns and textures. And in here you've got the period, which is an arrow. So that could be used as a sense of direction. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's see the final logo design. So here we have it. The Lettermark logo has been carefully refined and simplified to create a simple, striking, memorable geographic design. The logo uses blocks and shapes to create a variety of spaces to give a sense of construction building. This results in an ownable logo for Riverside Training Spalding. So this is it working in black and white. Now, type treatment. So the logo has been designed to work as a standalone. However, there will be occasions where the logo will need to work with type for further legibility. To accompany the bold geometric design, I've found a really nice typeface. This is called ENA. ENA was designed as a corporate typeface for the design school, ENA. So this typeface was built with education in mind. So it was built around education. So I think it's fitting that it was built for clarity, and it's a really nice, simple geometric typeface, but with a bit of character, which I feel would really go well and sit well with the logo. So here it is. Here we have the type element working perfectly in harmony with the Lettermark design. This can work in two very distinct ways. It can work to the side or it can work underneath, depending on the context and the media environment that it's used. So that's the logo, and working in black and white. So the logo on black and white works as you see, but when sitting on black, it might not work with the solid block. So it assumes like a stroke manifestation like that. Okay, so colors. Right then. So for RTS, I have developed a bespoke color palette to apply to the logo design. Fresh coral, base white, and purpose purple, I call these colors. Fresh coral represents energy, drive, and determination. Purpose purple represents wisdom and a solid foundation. These colors work well together to generate a fresh, bold, distinct, and confident palette with a style that RTS can look towards a bright future. Applying the color palette creates a strong and distinct logo that can be used as a master logo for RTS. So this is the master logo, and we'll talk a little bit what that means in a minute. So this is the RTS on white, and this is it as a combination. So what we're using is the darker tone is this purpose purple, and the lighter tone is this fresh coral. Okay. Now, there's an alternative colorway. The logo design lends itself really easily to variation. As well as working on white, the logo can work on the fresh coral. This presents a very distinct alternative use for the logo. So the dark stroke can turn white, and we have that purple in the shape. So it's like an invert version of the previous one, but just allowing that coral to come through. And there's some compositions there. So just taking a pause for a second, just to conclude. Yeah. So the logo, I believe this logo would work really well for RTS because it meets a lot of the goals and requirements set out in the initial brief. It looks iconic and distinct. It feels confident, dynamic, and strong. It creates excitement and recognition, and it offers versatility and ownership. Right. You might find this quite interesting. So custom letter forms. Okay, so I designed the RTS for the logo, but what I like to do is when I design custom letter forms, I wanted to see what it looked like as a complete alphabet. So I explored this, and I took all the letters from the RTS and made a complete alphabet. Now, this is something that could be used as an extra visual element as part of your further branding. Now, this isn't about branding, this is about logo design, but what I want to just give you a little hint of the potential of this logo and the legs that it has and where we can go. So, application. So the letter forms work really well as words and could be used as part of a broader visual communication strategy. So build, care, and other words that you can see that you could craft together. So it's really strong, it's very unique, completely bespoke and built from the ground up for you. Okay, so now let's look at the way this logo can be used and look at some in situ visuals. Okay, so image treatment. The fresh coral and purpose purple work well together as a gradient map. Applied to images, this generates a very unique and distinct effect to images that can be used in a creative marketing context. Now, again, this isn't necessarily about branding, but I just want to show you how the logo can work in synergy with some other visual elements. So that's one way.
Yep.
And another way is the alternative way. So it works on white and it can work on the color background as well. So it looks very contemporary, very polished, very strong. Okay.
It's easy to see that.
So I managed to find your company on Google Maps.
You've been digging around.
I have done a little digging and I managed to find some images and I thought it'd be really nice to see it in real.
It is. It's very nice to see that. Yeah.
So, and then inside in the exam room, it looked like that. Now, you can see that we could do some really interesting things where we have lines. So it's all about connecting, building, journey, stitching together, moving forward. So we could start to use other visual elements just to connect bits together and create grids and things like that.
Yep.
So here are some business cards. And now you can see how those colors could come together, this master colorway, the main colorway. So you could have a really nice striking back with the RTS, and then on the inside, you can see it's really formal.
Really strong. I love it.
And then you've got mugs. So you can have white and you can have a range of mugs around your office space. Here are just some badges, looking at some playful ways that the RTS logo could exist. You've got t-shirts. You've got a cap here. Now, I've got a little surprise for you. So I've been collaborating with an animator, and we looked at animating the logo. So if you want to see the logo animating, I can show you a quick little preview.
That'd be great.
So this is the logo animating, which embodies the entire concept. So it's all about building. So it's all about building, coming out of nothing and forming a solid structure, solid futures. So that's one animation. I'll show you another one. So there's variety. We looked at a variety of logo animations. There's just a lot we can do with this. There's just a lot of, the animator said that he really liked animating this logo because he thinks the design lends itself a lot to motion. And that was
definitely,
and that's good because it's all part of where the logo came from. It came from that strong idea of building and, development. There was another one here. This is a really cheeky one. Really playful. So it's like, RTS does a lot of online stuff and you do a lot of digital stuff. So the animator had some fun with that and he did a really cool job.
Very cool.
Okay.
Nice.
So
very smart. That's,
So I'll continue. There's a bit more for you to see. Care. So this is how the letter forms could start to work. All right. Okay. So now we're starting to go into a little bit of touch of branding. Like, how would this work? So as we see, we've got that gradient map applied to images. And this is just a little context of how maybe some visual communication could work. And we could use the motif of the arrow for a sense of direction. We could use photos, or we could be really bold and graphic with it. And I've got this, I've just put this little quote in here: build your future today. So the tagline could be some, thank you. The tagline could be something around building. So it's about building your future today. So here's like a folder. We could explore textures and use these shapes of the logo to create really nice sort of graphic textures that we could celebrate the brand. Here's a notepad, a notebook. And then maybe there'll be some tote bags that you might get for your students to come and go to represent your private training company. And again, this one's bold logo. Here we're celebrating that texture, that sense of direction with little arrows. And what we can do is we can also make some compositions where we complement the type with the font that we used in the logo. So build your future. So there could be like a really nice big tote bag with the color.
Really
put it on t-shirts. And here's a little idea of what it might look like on an underground or a local train station. So we can use that type to create things like teach. You do accountancy, so it could be, in this context, it's teach. So teach, now accepting applications, apply today, things like that. And again, you can see how that gradient map has a very ownable, distinct style.
Really works well. Yeah, really does.
And let's say, for example, you were at a conference event and you wanted some flags. You could do something like that where it's really, really eye-catching. And here's just a little tease of how you could play with the letter forms. Open Day 2022. How graphic that looks. It just looks really, unusual, but very, very cool. Here's a little touch in what you might do as an interior. So, in your office, you might just use these arrows. So they're always reminding you of direction. You're always moving forward, always trying to go up. And maybe that's in the foyer with the chairs and just a little touch. It could be just dotted around.
Very nice.
And, you might do conference events where, this is just a look and feel of, the feel of the impact that you'd get on a slide, side by side with that motif.
Yeah.
So now looking at some practical things. So this is what your email footer might look like. And you could do like an animated GIF of the logo maybe and put it in there.
Like that, yeah.
Now, this is just a little taste of what Twitter could look like. So combining those visual elements. So the header is, build your feature with an image, and then you've got the RTS logo. And to the right is just a little taste of what some social media could look like. Now you can own that shape, that triangle pointing up. So that could be, a mechanism like a frame to put images inside. And, it's just very clean, but bold and very considered. And here you go. Here it all manifests outside. So this is what it might look like. You might have a big poster for people passing by, and then you've got the clear language. So it would be a balance between, really colorful imagery and really simplistic, very bold, clear visual communication.
Yeah, very, very nice. Brilliant.
Now we move on to color. Okay. So what you've seen up to this point is what I propose as your master brand. But as we spoke on the phone, we like the idea of, having some color. After all, you are in education and it's very colorful. And I think it would be, interesting to pursue that and have flexibility of color.
Yeah.
The RTS spectrum. So RTS offers a rich learning experience with a variety of endeavors. The RTS spectrum has been developed to offer variety for the RTS logo application. Colors can be used to represent goals and specific subject sectors RTS offers courses in. The colors could be used as a background in more vibrant and dynamic ways where appropriate. So we have fresh coral, strive green, bright yellow, work gray, forward blue, and wise purple. So here we go. So you can see that the simple logo design offers practical flexibility. White and purple remain constant, where the solid block elements can easily change. And if we look at colored backgrounds, you can see that it just works. The system is easily adapted and inverted on colored backgrounds where the purpose purple is applied to the blocks and the white stroke. So these look really strong and really neat. But how are we going to use these? So you might just have some other badges kicking around. You might have some other things in different colorways as well. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So as we saw before, we could create visual communication where each sector has a color. So teaching, for example, could be green, customer service could be yellow, and business could be gray. And when we look at this, we have a consistent visual visual layout, but we just interchange the colors just to give you a bit of sense more variety. So the coral is the master colorway, and you would use that for your business cards and all that, and the main signage. But when you dive into other things, you might just want to use a bit of color, like so. And we can see how this might work on other posters. And this could be loosely used, but there would be a strategy for it. So it wouldn't just be there for the sake of it. And again, looking at some mugs, you might just get some mugs floating around the office space. So it doesn't all have to be coral. It could be green, yellow, or blue. And this is, again, you might be at a conference and just have another splash of color. You might have different areas where you've got a blue area, a yellow area, for example. So it could be part of wayfinding, maybe. Just lends itself to that. Now, finally, let's look at it in the mix. So reflecting back on the competitors' logos, We put RTS in, and I would say that I think it stands out. I think it looks really polished, looks clean and balanced, simple, and
definitely stands out. Yeah.
There we see it against the competition. So there you go. There's the RTS logo. Now, I've gone in for this one idea here, because when I did it, I thought this was, to me personally, I feel this is a really strong idea. So, do you agree that it works?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, really. I'm glad you went into one area, not spectrumed off, and then maybe didn't focus more time. But this is brilliant. Really, really happy with this. I like the building frames. I love how it just all builds together, and the animation kind of just sums it up in the sense of how it all works together and then cycles in. That's just really, very impressed actually.
Thank you. Well, I really enjoyed working on it.
Right.
No, go ahead. It's your time to talk. It's your time to talk, Finley.
No, I was going to say that build your future thing. Very, I love that. I love that whole sentence and that whole dynamic of it. Just really works in with the company, I think. Yeah, it's great.
I feel like this would appeal to a 16 to 24-year-old audience. I feel if I was to see that, I think back to myself when I was applying to university and, just looking at the prospectus and getting really excited about it. I feel if we use language like this and the colors in the way and the type, I feel we're going to inspire people. I think people are going to be attracted to RTS. And I think this puts you on course, for your expansion. And I think as a strategy for your business, I think it could be really good to take you into the future.
Definitely modern, definitely a new shape for the business. And it just stands out definitely in this area because it's a very bland area of when you show the logos on the screen, you can definitely see how much more striking it is compared to competition.
And this is something I always do. I always look at the competition to see, because this is the goal really, isn't it? The goal is to create something for you where you can stand shoulder to shoulder with your competitors and just, seem confident. Now, as I was saying earlier on, this isn't branding, this is logo, but I've given you a little taste of what we can do with this. And I believe that this is massive. You could do so much with this. And I feel as if we're just scratching the surface here. So I feel like what I've done, just to put some, quick little examples across, I just feel like this, I'm really excited about this sort of visual communication and, where we could take it.
Yeah, definitely. Same here.
And I know that we discussed earlier on about doing the logo first. And then if you like the logo and you like what you saw, we could then move into branding. So that's kind of why on this occasion, I just touched a little bit on branding, because I feel you need to see this. You need to see where it can go, just to hopefully to show you it working. So if you agree, then, we can, if you want to take some time to think about it, I can send you this as a PDF so you could share it with your colleagues or, have a little think about it. Then, you can see what you think. But
no, definitely. I'm very on board with this. It'd be good to have a PDF just to show the rest of them, give them an idea of what direction we're going in a sense. It gives them a hint. Yep. So that'd be great. Yeah. So I'm happy, very happy.
Okay. So what happens now is, we'll agree that you're happy with it and you like it, but I'll send you over the PDF and you can take it and you can just let me know, any feedback. You might have some ideas, you might have some feedback. So we could have a bit of time for that. And then we can just go from there, really. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'll have to chat with everyone, but in my position now, I'll be happy to move on in a sense.
Okay.
It definitely has to go through different areas, but from my seat now, I'm very happy.
Well, I'm really glad and I'm excited for you. You could see
that alphabet you've made as well. It just all works. Yeah, like you say, all work together. It's just all very smart. Yeah, it's just all fallen into place. It's very edgy, cutting edge. It's bold. It's artistic. It's creative. And when we do stuff like this, I feel like and stuff like this, it's really gonna stand out. So there you go, guys. What a success.
I must admit I was really happy with that result. On this occasion, I just presented one logo design because I just felt that that was really strong, and I'm really glad that the client was on board with that. So, job done, guys. The logo is done, and now I feel we are going to go ahead with the branding project. So we're going to take it a little further. So, what do you think, guys? What did you think of that presentation? Is that something that you do? Is that something that you would like to do? I hope I have helped you a little bit there with how you can present to the client. Now, if you like this presentation and you want to find out more about this presentation, I have a course on my GDS channel which goes into this entire process, and you can actually get access to a copy of that proposal document. So if you're interested to learn more, check the description for my pro logo design course, and you too can create a proposal document and present it to your client like this. As you saw, it worked. It really worked. It helped. The client loved seeing the build-up. The client loved the in-situ visuals. They loved seeing it in situ, and it just really helped to sell my design. So a win today, guys, and I'm really happy about it. Tell me what you think in the comments. What did you think of this presentation? Did you think there was anything I could have improved on? Is there anything I missed? And share your stories. How do you present? Do you present like this? Let me know in the comment section. So what happens next? So now the logo has been approved, the last step in my design process is to give those deliverables. So now I'm probably going to put together a package of logo files which I'm going to pass over to the client. So then we can wrap up that project, and then we can draw a line under it and move on to the next step. So I'll be talking about that soon in my next video. So guys, I'll see you in the next video.